Hey guys, coming to another classic movie for guys, and this classic movie we're reviewing is actually a very special one, mainly because most of the movies I reviewed for you have been either from Hulu or Amazon or Netflix, something like that, or I've just watched it on my computer, and, I've watched it at home and things like that. Mostly all of the ones I reviewed for you were like that. There hasn't been any that I haven't seen at home. I've seen all those at home, and then I reviewed them for you guys. However, this is the first classic movie I ever reviewed that I actually saw in theaters. Today, there was actually a showing of this movie, a Fathom event, for 2 days, today and Wednesday. You guys can check it out. Wednesday, it's also playing tonight again at 7 o'clock, and I want to check out this movie, and I didn't think I'd be able to see it at first, but luckily I did finally get to see it, and that is the 1954 crime drama classic On the Waterfront. And guys, I could not wait to see this movie. I knew pretty much nothing going into it, but I really didn't want to know much about it. I knew it was a Criterion film. I knew that it really was the film that got Marlon Brando started, and I really wanted to check this movie out because of that. I heard amazing things about it. I really wanted to check it out, and I really was looking forward to seeing how this movie would be. And after watching On the Waterfront, guys, not only is On the Waterfront a absolute masterpiece, and definitely I think a movie that everyone needs to watch at some point, it also is by far the best classic movie I've reviewed so far. I love everything about On the Waterfront. I think it's a masterpiece. It has so many deep meanings. There's so many amazing things about it, and I can't wait to talk about it. So let's just get in this movie. Starting off with the plot, which I really do love the plot to this movie, because the plot of this movie is actually very sad. Basically, we focus on this guy, Terry Malloy, and Terry Malloy is a man that once wanted to be this boxer. He wants to be a boxer, he wants to be this fighter and everything, and he dreams of doing that. He really does want to be this fighter, and, he really had promised to be this boxer, but one day he actually lost to this guy, Johnny Friendly, who basically had, his brother, Terry's brother, Charley, instructed him to deliberately lose a fight so that he could have won, so that Friendly could win money against him, and ever since then, he's kind of broken. He's now a dock worker, he's really all by himself, he just has pigeons to attend to. Meanwhile, his brother is working for local mob boss Johnny Friendly, and basically Johnny Friendly is the man that kind of runs the town and everything, and he's the one that kind of controls the waterfront, and it's starting to become a problem because murders are starting to happen, people are starting to disappear, and basically, you can tell that Terry really does want to bring this man to justice, so when he's told that a murder has happened that he knows is in direct cause of Friendly, and that Friendly was definitely the cause of this murder, and he's told to give some names and basically, testify against him, Terry really has to be, conflicts with, should I, should I actually testify against him? Is this going to work out well for me? Or should I just stay silent? And that really is the plot of On the Waterfront. I think it's an amazing plot. Yes, it's something we've heard before, but I really think this movie fleshed it out as much as possible, and I really do love that. Let's get to the cast of the movie, because without a doubt, the cast is one of the things that absolutely makes this movie. Everyone in this movie is just incredible. They all give incredible performances. They all are fantastic, and the movie, I believe, got 5 Academy, I believe, there were, 5 Academy Awards for this movie, which we'll get into, but, without a doubt, the star of this movie is Marlon Brando as Terry Malloy. I mean, this is the movie that got Marlon Brando started. Without this movie, Marlon Brando, I don't think, would be as big as he really is. Marlon Brando, there's a reason why he's considered one of the greatest actors of all time, and he really gives off that performance in this movie. I mean, this is a man that's very broken. He's kind of lost a few things. He isn't as affected by things. He, really has to stay silent, and he really has to keep quiet what's going on, and he's in a very complicated situation. He doesn't know if he should actually testify. He wants to, but he also knows that his brother is involved with, Johnny Friendly and everything. He doesn't really know if he wants to, what this could do to his brother, if he ends up testifying, what this could do to him. I mean, he really is very conflicted with what he wants to do here, and I really thought he gave a very good performance with that, but you can also see that he is also a man that really seeks justice. He wants justice to be done. He really wants to do something, but he doesn't really know if he's the right man to do that. I mean, just because he's very weak now. He's not the strong guy he once used to be, and he's very weak, and I think Marlon Brando really gave that persona off very well, and what I love is that he didn't play a tough guy in this movie. He played a guy that's kind of broken and kind of lost a lot of hope and really isn't the man he once used to be, and I really thought he did a great job in that role. By far the best performance I've seen from Marlon Brando so far. I mean, the only other movie I've seen prior to this is Guys and Dolls, which, not very good if you guys have seen that. He's okay, but he just not really the role for Marlon Brando to start out with. But this was an amazing performance. I think he definitely deserved all the praise he's gotten. I believe he did get an Academy Award for it, which he definitely deserves. I mean, he really wasn't. Yes, he did get an Academy Award for Best Actor, and he definitely deserved it. He was incredible, and definitely he was amazing. But everyone else, though, was just as great. Eva Marie Saint as Edie, I think, is another really great performance. What I love about her performance is the emotion she puts into this role. I mean, basically, her brother is murdered very early on in the film. She wants to find out who did it, and she sort of strikes up a connection with Terry. He wants to kind of get her away from this crime, get her away from all the corrupt stuff, because he really is concerned about her. Since her brother died, I mean, he's kind of thinking that she might be next, something bad could happen to her. He's really worried about her, and I really do like the bonding between these two. But she's also concerned because he kind of seems unfazed by her brother's death, which we also know because, he did witness it, and of course, he doesn't really want to confess what's going on. She can tell he's hiding something. Their relationship overall, you do really want these two to end up together, and you want things to go well for Terry, but you don't really know, mainly because the fact that Terry knows all this information, and this could really damage their relationship, and I really thought they had fantastic chemistry. Every scene with them really adds this kind of, like, sweetness to the film. Even though the movie is very dark, and very just, sad at points, it's sad throughout the whole thing, this is some of the lightness stuff in the movie. Not really light, but there are some really nice scenes between these two. You see that Terry really does care for her. He really, really does want to help her, and I really love the relationship overall. One of the best parts of the movie, that I doubt. I definitely love the relationship. Now let's talk about our main villain here, Lee J. Cobb as Johnny Friendly. Holy shit, this guy is scary. I mean, this is the scary mob boss that you guys have seen before, but this guy is so scary. I mean, you can tell why everyone is so scared of him. Anytime that Friendly, when Friendly commits these crimes, everyone is just staying silent. Nobody wants to say anything. They're doing what's called D&D, deaf and dumb. They're playing deaf and dumb because they don't really want to admit what they do, because they don't want to be the next one. You can see how scary this guy is. You can see how intimidating he is. You can also see why he's gone way too far. This guy is power hungry, and he wants to be, he wants to just take over everything. He doesn't want anyone to take his place, and he basically wants to be the ruler of this town forever, and basically just wants to, take over everything, and you can really see why he's going too far. I mean, he's someone that really doesn't seem to show any mercy. He has no limits whatsoever, and I think he did a very good job with this role. Very intimidating, very scary, but you also really do see the central conflict between Terry and Friendly, really what's going on there. Friendly's the man that really made Terry the way he is today, and you really hate him for that. I mean, this is a guy that you really do hate. The second you see him, you hate this guy, because the first scene is actually him gloating about, oh, how I'm this great person, and how I'm the ruler of the town, and how I've done all these terrible things. I mean, he has this whole mob and everything. Everyone seems to be working with him, mainly because they're just scared, and they don't really want to change. They want things to change, but again, they're just scared of him. They don't really know if they can do that. So I really thought he gave a great job. He was very menacing, very scary, and I definitely really loved his performance. He really was fantastic. Carl Maiden as Father Barry, I thought was definitely one of the best performances in the movie, because he really is one of the ones that really wants justice done, is very strong, opinionated about it. Like, he's one of the ones that telling Terry, you need to testify, you need to say what's going on, you need to put a stop to this, because no one else will. You need to do that. You need to get this man behind bars, and he has some incredible scenes, and you can tell a lot of people don't really love this man, because he's very deeply religious, and there isn't a lot of that in the town, especially because of the way Friendly is. Friendly's really made a lot of the town, so there's not a lot of religious stuff, and there's this great scene where he's trying to protest and really show his religion, and basically tell them, look, you're all children of God, and you don't have to follow this man. It's one of the best scenes in the movie, that I doubt. I absolutely loved his performance. I think he was fantastic. He should have been, I think he was not, I would hope he was nominated, because he really gave an amazing performance, and he really, for me, was one of the most effective scenes of the film, without a doubt. He really was incredible. And then Rod Steiger as Charley the Gent Malloy, who is Terry's brother. He is the most famous scene in the movie, if you guys know, between Rod Steiger and Marlon Brando. It's actually really interesting. This most famous scene between Terry Malloy and between Marlon Brando and Rod Steiger, when they're on that when they're basically in this taxi cab, basically talking about all this stuff with, like, how Terry wanted to be something and he's not something anymore, and Charley wants him to bring Friendly to justice, but Terry's trying to explain to him why he can and why nothing can happen here. It's a very effective scene, and in fact, Marlon Brando actually did not finish it. There's like a story that Marlon Brando and Rod Steiger, they actually didn't work together they actually never saw each other again for like 40 years, until they saw each other again at this cafe, and, like, I guess they didn't get along very well on set, but I really thought he did a great job. You really do see why Terry Terry cares for him. I think he did a very good job in the movie. Everyone really did an amazing job. The performances, without a doubt, are one of the best things about the movie, and they all really did kill it. And let's talk about the directing here, because I found the directing to be very interesting. No, something else I liked about seeing this in the theater is that I actually got to hear some behind-the-scenes drama that went on behind closed doors. And one of the biggest parts of the movie is the director, Elia Kazan, almost didn't make this movie, because back then this was a time when directors were being blacklisted for being communist, and Elia Kazan was a communist, and basically he did give names of directors that were communists, and because of that he was able to make the movie. Whether you think that's right or wrong, at least he was able to make this movie. Thank God he was able to make it, because the directing here is just perfect. His tone is very somber, but also kind of hopeful. Like, it really does seem like something good is going to happen, but you don't really know what's going to happen here. You want things to get better, you want things to be okay for Terry, you want things to be better for the waterfront in general, but you don't really know if that's going to work out. I think his directing was really strong. He definitely did a very good job. Oh, one other person I forgot to point out, whoever played the kid in the movie, I can't think of the kid right now, but the kid that Terry becomes close with, very good job. I think he did an amazing job in the movie. One of my favorite performances, without a doubt. He really was fantastic, and one of my favorite things about his performance is the way that he admires Terry and kind of the way they bond. I thought he did a very good job. I really did love his role, and he really was fantastic. The directing here, though, like I said, I think it's a very dark tone. It's a perfect tone for the film, and I really couldn't see anyone else directing this better than Elia Kazan really did. He really directed it to perfection. I think he did an amazing job, and I really did love his directing with the movie. He really was fantastic. But the screenplay here, without a doubt, is one of my favorite screenplays I think I've ever heard. I mean, the screenplay in this movie is just so great. The story in general, this is a great story about justice and corruption, and really when justice needs to be done, because that really is what this movie's about. Justice needs to be done when someone is going too far. That's really the big part of this movie. It's not about the mob boss, and it's not about, Terry in general. It's about, when does justice need to be done? When can you kind of just when you actually draw the line and say, all right, I'm done here? When does that actually happen? And the way that Terry's basically forced to do that throughout this entire movie, it's very interesting. When he eventually does make that decision, it's very well executed. And the way that they handled all that, I really did love. It's a very inspiring movie as well, because it really does show, when you eventually, the movie kind of to say you will eventually get your justice, and maybe you will turn things around, something will happen and things like that. It's a very interesting message. I really love the way the movie handled it, and I really think it was as realistic as possible. I definitely love the way the story was told. I think it was a very well done story, and one of my favorite things with the movie, without a doubt, was just the message in general of justice needing to be done, and when you need to take down this figure, when is someone going too far? How far is too far? What does all that mean? I think it was a very well done screenplay. I really did love it. There are some incredible scenes in this movie, too many to name, but there are so many scenes where I'm like, that's a classic, that's a classic, that's a classic. I mean, so many scenes in this movie that are just incredible, pure genius, and really the screenplay is just, it's about as perfect as a screenplay can get. I really can't say more about it. It really is a fantastic screenplay. The cinematography in this movie is just incredible. This movie was made in 1954, and it went really far. I mean, when people get killed in this movie, it's actually really graphic. Like, you see blood and everything. It's actually really graphic stuff, and I really do applaud them for making the movie as graphic as it was, because I think the movie really needed that graphic sort of gruesome tone. You needed to see how far they were going, and you need to see why justice needed to be done, mainly because things are just getting worse and worse, and things don't seem to be getting better, and I think they really did a great job with showing that throughout the movie, because, yeah, for a while, that's how the movie is. Nothing seems to be getting better. Things just kind of are in this repetitive cycle where more and more people are getting hurt and more people are being damaged, and nothing really is getting done, and I definitely really loved that. I thought that was a very well done scene. I definitely really loved the way the movie was done. I thought it was very well handled, and the cinematography I really thought was fantastic here, especially the scenes on the dock. Those scenes on the dock really give you that secluded, sort of just depressing tone. Like, you really feel like this is where Terry is now. This is where he wants to be. This is kind of where his home is, and the way he kind of is bonding with pigeons for a while. I mean, for a while, he has these connections to these pigeons, and it's very interesting to see, and I really love the way that scene was done. I thought it was very well handled, and, scenes with Evie, too. I mean, all those scenes I thought were very well done. Cinematography was very well handled, and a lot of it is very dark, but when the scene's supposed to be positive, there are some light scenes, and I did really enjoy the way that was done, but a lot of the movie is done in very dark lighting, and I thought it was just a good contrast to show how corrupted the world really was, and I really did love seeing that. So the cinematography, that was fantastic here. The score is just great. I mean, the score is played exactly at the right time. It's chaotic, it's crazy. I mean, when the score is played, it sounds crazy. I mean, listen to the score. It sounds like chaos. When there's chaos going on, it sounds like chaos. It's very sad at points. It's a very well done score. Really gives that melancholy feeling that the film really needs. I definitely really did love that. And the movie, I think, also has a great message of being empty. You can really tell when someone's empty and when someone, really just wants to turn their life around and, can someone build themselves back up. It's very inspiring in that way because of the fact of, basically the story. And this actually was based off a newspaper article in 1948, Crime on the Waterfront, which I find that very interesting. But yeah, really sure. I mean, we can find out a lot just from reading a newspaper article. And I think this really does show that just from reading this small article about this little incident that I don't think many people knew about, it really inspired this movie. I think it's very interesting. I really love that. That's one of my favorite, I think it's one of the most fascinating things about this movie is the fact that it all was based off a newspaper article. I mean, who would have known? I think that's very interesting. The editing here also is perfect. The movie flew by for me. I was into it the whole time. There wasn't a single dull scene in this movie. I absolutely loved everything about it, and I thought, like I said, I was into it the whole time. There wasn't a single dull scene for me. I was into it, I really got into it very quickly. It took me a very small amount of time to figure out what was going on. It's a very easy movie to understand. If you think this is a movie that's not going to be easy to understand, it's very easy to understand. And it was really cool to see a black and white movie in theaters. It really was cool to see that. It looks like it was made today, really, because the way it was digitally mastered and things like that. But it looks fantastic, and definitely it's a movie that definitely you need to, if you get a chance to see in theaters, like if you don't get a chance to see it this week or you see it Wednesday or Sunday, definitely pick up the Criterion because it's definitely a movie that you need to see like on a big screen TV. It's not a movie you see on your computer, not that kind of movie. So overall, guys, like I said, I absolutely love On the Waterfront, but now I want to get into spoilers for On the Waterfront because I really do want to talk about the way the movie ends and how much I love the ending and things like that. So if you guys haven't seen On the Waterfront, go see it in theaters. It's an incredible movie. If you haven't seen it, just check it out, which I'm sure you have. I mean, it really is a standard when it comes to films. It's on the AFI Top 100 list, which I don't know if I told you guys, but I'm trying to watch every movie actually that's on the AFI Top 100 list that I haven't seen so far this year. So I really do want to do that. This was on there, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to see it. For many other reasons, but that's one of the big reasons. And let me just get into spoilers. So, the way the movie ended, I had no idea how the movie was going to end. For a while, that scene with Charley and Terry, I thought it was going to be close to the end of the movie. Like the scene where Charley told Terry to testify. You don't know if Terry's going to do that, but basically realizing that Charley died, I mean, Terry knows that's when justice needs to be done. Like when you mess with my brother, that's when justice needs to be done, and obviously, he wants to go after Friendly, and I love the way this was done, because the whole movie, he does not want to go after Friendly. He feels like, he's been beaten down. His fight is over. Like, there's really nothing left to it. He's a bum, and that's all he is, and that scene between Terry and Charley is just so foreshadowing, really, what is going to end up happening, because Terry's just saying, oh, I'm a bum, I have no life, I've given up my life, basically. He feels like he's given up his life to Friendly, and Friendly's basically gotten what he wanted to do, and now Terry pretty much just has to face that. But then once Charley was killed, I knew that Terry was going to go after Friendly, and that final confrontation when Terry says, I'm glad I testified, I'm not upset about it, I'm glad I testified against you, Friendly just beats the living shit out of him. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. I really thought Terry was going to get killed. I really thought that was going to happen, but the way that scene was done, I absolutely love the way the Friendly just, that whole fight scene was so well done, and I love the way we didn't see a lot of it. Like, some of it we saw, but a lot of it was just done from, like, Edie and Father Barry's reaction. I thought it was very well handled the way they did that. I definitely really appreciate that, and that's something I definitely really loved. And the scene where everyone's turning against Terry is a very hard scene to watch. We can really tell that all the people that he's just lost because he's testified, a lot of people, obviously, there were reasons why he didn't want to do it, and that's a very good reason why. He had all these allies that work with Friendly, but all the people that have now worked with Friendly are turning against him. And then the end of the movie, I absolutely love the way that Edie basically convinces Terry, because, Edie gives him this hope that, oh, we can run away, and we can get away from here, because, Terry want to get away from the violence. I think Terry's realizing that's just not realistic. That's not what's going to happen. Terry needs to face what's going on. He needs to be the one to bring Friendly to justice. There is no getting out of this. Now that Charley's been murdered, Terry feels like it is his duty to take out Friendly, and he doesn't kill Friendly, but Friendly is beaten down. Friendly is dethroned, and Terry is now going to be leading the town to victory, which I thought was very well done. He's going to be leading the waterfront. I absolutely love that. Terry finally gets what he wants, and it's a very triumphant ending. Like, the way the music is playing, what I like about the music playing is that it's not necessarily the happiest music, mainly because Terry now has to face all the things that Friendly had to face when he's gonna have to face some very big threats, but he did get to take out Friendly. That was his big thing. He never thought he'd be able to take him out. He did get to take out the man that wronged him, and he got to take out the man that, gave him the life that he had, and now he's basically taken over. I thought it was a very well done ending. I love the way it was done. I love that everyone follows him. I love that Friendly, and the ending when Friendly is shouting all these things, it just shows that no one really is afraid of him anymore. I mean, I think, Terry was the first person to show that there's no reason to be afraid of this guy. This guy's just a big talker. And even though he will kill a lot of people, really he's a big talker. There's no reason to follow him. There's no reason to be afraid of him. This guy really is not someone, obviously, that they want to mess with. But at the same time, he also is someone that they shouldn't really be afraid of because he's kind of just a coward. He really is. I mean, he'll fight when needs to happen, but he really is a coward when you look at it. I thought it was a very well done ending. I definitely absolutely loved it. Maybe one of my favorite endings of all time. Absolutely loved it. And overall, guys, I loved everything about On the Waterfront. Without a doubt, I am definitely going to move 5 out of 5 or an A+. If you haven't seen it, check it out now. It's an incredible movie. I loved every minute of it. By far the best classic movie I've seen so far. And I definitely will be writing a longer review for it on Letterboxd if you guys want to check that out. But let me know if you guys saw this movie, you have seen it. I honestly would encourage you guys to see The Fathom Event. I really would. I think it's a movie that isn't dated, honestly. There were a lot of... I was the only young person in my theater, which I'm not surprised about because it's TCM, but I honestly would encourage a lot of people to see this movie. I'm talking people my age. I really think it's a movie that everyone should see because it's really a movie about when justice should be done and how far, you can let a person go. Because for a while, Terry does let Friendly go very, very far, and he really blames himself for doing that, which I think is very well done the way the movie did that. I mean, the movie really is, it is a crime drama, but I feel like it's also a psychological thriller in many ways just because of the way that it really gets into Terry's head, and you really are feeling that tension of Terry is the cause of a lot of these things. Well, he feels he is, maybe he's not, but he really feels like he's the cause of a lot of these things, and you really do get that feeling throughout the movie. But overall, guys, if you haven't seen On the Waterfront, let me know what you guys thought of it. Like I said, by far the best classic movie I've watched so far. I can't wait to, definitely, this is why I love classic movies, because I can discover movies like this. I can't wait to check out more Marlon Brando movies in the future. This is only one of the Marlon Brando movies I'll be watching this year. There'll be other ones, definitely. I'm watching like 3 or 4 more, so definitely look forward to those reviews. And we'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for the tonight's episode of the Girlfriend Experience, and I will see you guys for that. So, okay, bye.